Helen, welcome to News Morning here on Newday on TV3. My name is Beatrice. Coming up in the next few minutes. Attorney General expected to close its case this week against former National Signals Bureau Director General Kwabena Adu-Boahene. Also, ECOWAS backs Ghana's petition to the African Union over alleged xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Much later on the program, former NAFCO CEO Hanan Abdul Wahab petitions the Attorney General over alleged harassment and torture. We'll bring you more. My name is Beatrice. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Now, Deputy Attorney General and the Minister for Justice, Justice Shremsai, has expressed confidence that justice will be served to both the accused persons and the Republic at the conclusion of the trial involving former Director General of the Cyber Security Authority, Kwabena Adu-Boahene, and two others. Now, Justice Shremsai says that the state is looking forward to closing its case this week in the matter in which the principal accused person is standing trial over the alleged stealing of 49.1 million Ghana cedis from a government bank account. He says that the prosecution, led by state attorneys and investigators from the Economic and Organized Crime Office, has already presented what he described as a strong body of evidence before the court. Justice Shremsai said the evidence covers the source of the funds, alleged diversion of government money into a private account, and transactions linked to the use of the funds. And you can be sure that we'll bring you all the latest you need to know on this issue. Now, New Patriotic Party flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has appealed to President John Mahama not to assent to the Public Tribunals Bill 2026. The bill, which was recently passed by Parliament, seeks to establish a network of specialized public tribunals to improve justice delivery and address offenses such as illegal mining or galamsey, financial crimes and corruption. However, the legislation has sparked opposition from some stakeholders who have raised concerns over its implications. Speaking during a live broadcast on his Facebook page, Dr. Bawumia called on President Mahama to withhold his assent to the bill and instead allow for broader stakeholder consultations.
I speak to you on a matter that has the potential to reshape our justice delivery system, confidence in our judiciary, and the future of our democracy altogether. The attempt to reintroduce tribunals into Ghana's judicial system. I have one respectful request of President Mahama. Mr. President, do not assent to this bill. Pause and let the nation ponder and deliberate on this very important matter. This is not a partisan request. The Trades Union Congress, the voice of millions of Ghanaian workers, has called for the bill to be withdrawn altogether, warning that in its current form, it could become a potent tool for weaponizing justice delivery. Those are the words of Ghanaian workers, not of any political party. Justice belongs to no government and no party. It belongs to the Ghanaian people. And a law that reshapes the architecture of justice should rest on national consensus, not on head count.
And speaking of justice, lawyers for ex-NAFCO boss Abdul Wahab have described as defective the current charges filed against him. Legal arguments are expected to take place on Monday as they urge the court to strike out the case filed by the Attorney General's office. They have meanwhile petitioned the office of the Attorney General, citing instances of alleged abuses. Now, let's take a closer look at the concerns. In the petition, Abdul Wahab insists that he has committed no offense and remains prepared to face any fair judicial process to clear his name. Now, while expressing confidence in Ghana's judiciary, he also accuses the Attorney General's office, IOCO, and the Bureau of National Investigations of repeatedly denying him due process throughout the prosecution. The petition also says that Abdul Wahab was first arrested on June 25, 2025 and held in Yoko custody for more than 2 weeks under what he described as an excessive bail condition of 60 million Ghana cedis. He further alleged that the Attorney General publicly commented on the case before charges had been filed, arguing that the remarks undermined his constitutional right to be presumed innocent. Now, he also recounts his arrest at the Accra International Airport despite complying with a court order and completing immigration and security checks.
Critical state.
Now, some more here, and is Ghana making headway in the fight against illicit drugs? With the rise in drug busts reported in the last few months, many are concerned about Ghana turning into a hub for harboring drugs. A recent operation by the Narcotics Control Commission, which resulted in the arrest of 3 suspects after officers intercepted 5 million tablets of tramadol at Kotoka International Airport, has renewed concerns over drug trafficking in the country. Nura Mohammed has the rest of the story.
From multi-million CD cocaine interceptions to one of the largest tramadol seizures in recent years, Ghana's fight against drug trafficking appears to be intensifying. But are these arrests translating into convictions and dismantling criminal networks? Nearly every month this year, the Narcotics Control Commission announces a major drug seizure. From cocaine and cannabis to tramadol and other controlled substances, the interceptions paint the picture of an increasingly active battle against drug trafficking in Ghana. This latest operation ranks amongst the biggest. Authorities estimate the drugs have a street value of about 100 million Ghana cedis. Investigators believe the consignment was intended for distribution within Ghana and potentially across the West African sub-region, raising concerns about the country's role in transnational drug trafficking networks. But this seizure is only one piece of a much larger picture. The Deputy Director General of NACOC, Alexander Chumberima, says these operations are driven by gathering intelligence through tip-offs, surveillance and collaboration with both local and international security partners.
The vigilance of our officers at the airport got us to see it and stop it. 3 persons whose name came up had been picked. An investigation is still ongoing for more. We've also had another one in Takoradi, which was about 15 million tablets. We seized at Takoradi port. There's a truck behind our office here. We also seized that one or stopped it, and because it was also having 5 million tablets of tramadol. And then we also seized another 15 million. So it's been a series of seizures upon seizures upon seizures. The amount of tramadol that we've seized can serve more than Ghana's population. So the question is, why would a Ghanaian, a citizen, decide to, cause evil to fellow citizens?
While the value of seized drugs often dominates headlines, another question remains: what becomes of the suspects?
The Director General has a principle, Major General Mante. His principle is very simple, that once you are arrested, you have the opportunity to be freed by 2 people. One is the court, and number 2 is God. All these cases that I've mentioned, none of them is out of the court, except the yesterday one that they are yet to go to court. That is just very recent. If they are able to prepare their documents, their charge sheet by today, hopefully by Monday, we are going to be in court. At first, we were having our cases scattered. But interestingly, the Chief Justice did something remarkable for us, which is giving us a dedicated court. So when he did that, he ordered all courts who were having our cases to bring all our cases back to that central court. I can say that looking at the pace that the new court is going, we are likely to get more convictions before the close of the year.
As traffickers continue to evolve their methods, Ghana's response is also being tested. The growing number of interceptions may suggest stronger enforcement, but the true measure of success will depend not only on the quantity of drugs seized, but on successful prosecutions to serve as a strong deterrent to other trafficking networks. Noura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
In other news, the Gambaga camp is currently struggling for survival as the facility grapples with shortages of food, accommodation and essential hygiene supplies. Managers of the camp say that the situation requires urgent attention as the facility is no longer able to meet the most fundamental requirement for daily existence, leaving the women in a state of vulnerability. Here is a report by Solomon Kwame Kanawule.
Currently, over 70 women cast out from their communities following allegations of witchcraft reside at Gambaga alleged witches camp, alongside more than 30 of their children and grandchildren. The environment poses health risk which threatens their livelihoods. This total lack of resources is compounded by a persistent need for medical attention, as resident vulnerability makes them seek for medical attention always.
Every day, you can go to the...
forcing them to live in an environment that offers little comfort. They are therefore calling for government support and requesting for policies to end anti-witchcraft allegations.
The accusation keeps on going. We thought by now everything will be down, but people are being still accused. So it makes it very difficult. I mean, I think you saw the concern the woman rose. She rose and said, look, why is it that it's only we women? We are tired. You could see clearly for yourself that they are getting tired themselves. So these are the issues that we want to address. And as I told you, we are still waiting on the president. And Parliament, what's the deal? I don't know what is going on. What's this deal? Let us wait in it so that truly, genuinely, we can get to the end of the issue so that people will be free. I was 6 months now. They have not received the leave, which was a very big, but I mean, a source of income for them. So I will urge that maybe something is done about it. So that this will...
Despite the dire living conditions, the vulnerability of the alleged witches is compounded by the persistent threat of external aggression, driven by the accusations leveled against them. In response to these concerns, the Northeast Region branch of the Police Women Association recently visited the camp to provide humanitarian aid and assess the security conditions of the women. During this visit, the Assistant Commissioner of Police in the Northeast Region, Ganu Edit, addressed the security situations, affirming that the police service is committed to maintaining a protective presence to shield these women from potential harm, calling for intensive community education to dismantle the belief systems that fuel accusations of witchcraft.
We make sure that we monitor their activities, monitor people who accuse them of witchcraft. What we know is that the laws must work. So if you go and kill somebody or you go and assault somebody because you think that the person is a witch, you should know that whatever you've done, positive criminal offenses, and you could be arrested and then prosecuted if you are found guilty. We want to assure community members that we are serious about protecting people who are accused of witchcraft. And we urge everybody to join us in the fight against accusing both people, especially women.
Report by Solomon Kwame Kanalwe, TV3 News, Northeast Region, Gambaga.
Now, the ECOWAS Council of Ministers has declared its full support for Ghana's petition to the African Union against xenophobia on the continent. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa disclosed this in a Facebook post after participating in the Council of Ministers meetings in Sierra Leone. The meetings were held ahead of the convening of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. Now, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says the Council has also gave its unconditional endorsement to the Accra Next Steps commitment on reparatory justice. He commended the regional body for supporting Ghana's efforts towards addressing discrimination against Africans and advanced the campaign for reparations. Mr. Ablakwa said that Ghana would continue working towards the vision of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah for a united, tolerant and prosperous Africa. Let's bring you some more here on the morning news. And the Energy Commission has targeted a 20% reduction in building energy consumption within 5 years through the full integration of energy efficiency requirements.
Findings by the Energy Commission show that building sector remained one of the largest consumers in the country, with heating, ventilation and air conditioning systems only accounting for approximately 50% of electricity cost in air-conditioned buildings. The Energy Commission, which is leading the pack, concluded a nationwide capacity building program for officers of the local government service. The training forms part of efforts to integrate energy efficiency considerations into development control and building permitting, positioning local authorities to ensure standards as demand for electricity continues to rise. The final sensitization workshop brought together planning officers, works engineers, building inspectors and environmental health officers. Deputy Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission, Chris Nanabenyin Yali, said guidelines have been introduced to ensure compliance, performance and certification.
The success of this initiative depends on strong collaboration among all participating institutions. The Energy Commission provides the technical leadership of this initiative. Our responsibility is to develop the regulatory framework, provide technical guidance, build institutional capacity, develop practical implementations tools, and support the effective enforcement of energy efficiency requirements throughout Ghana's building sector.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, in a statement delivered on her behalf by the Chief Director of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator Council, Reverend Hani Kwate U, called for deliberate integration of energy efficiency into building design and construction to manage regions' growing energy demand.
The initiative by the Energy Commission to mainstream energy efficiency into the building permits administration system, therefore, is commendable. It represents a practical step towards ensuring that energy efficiency is no longer treated as a portion but become an integral component of our planning, design, and construction.
The point, I was reading comments on social because I was also watching as well on social media, and people were like, they should bench Messi. This is somebody who is praised all over.
It's an end to a generation, really, and over the last 15 years, I think more competitively between him and then Ronaldo, they've been able to thrill all of us football fans to some exciting moves and techniques from both of them. And they've been able to turn around games that ideally, if they were not in the team for their clubs or also for their national teams, they wouldn't have been able to win. And I have to say that God gave them great talent and then resilience. They worked on it as well. And we're not going to have them in the next, I believe, generation until the next one.
For me, it was very, really an exhausting game. Watching even 100th minute, no goal. And I'm like, what's happening? Yes, and I don't know whether Messi was exhausted because even watching it, it was really exhausting.
He's 39. Yeah. If he was an African at 39, then that would have been 45 or 47. So, I mean, 39 real age. You can't be running with Yamal at the same pace, you know. It comes with the age. But he's been able to give us some great times. So, alongside him and Ronaldo, we say bye-bye to them. This should be their last World Cup, but you never know. If they want to do... very
low notes.
You say?
They ended on a very low note. I mean, Ronaldo ended, lowly, and then people were like, okay, maybe Messi would raise the bar, and we saw what happened yesterday, but really. And the funny thing, this morning when I woke up, I saw the pictures. People have inverted the pictures of him bathing, Lamar bathing.
I posted that somewhere on a social media platform. And, you know, sometimes AI has come to do many things, many great things that we wouldn't have been able to do in 1 hour or 2 hours. Things that graphics guys will tell you, Charlie, this one, Charlie, boss, take your time. Take your time, it's done in a minute or two.
But yesterday, my neighborhood was very quiet. I don't know whether they were all supporting Messi. Although,
where's your neighborhood?
I'll tell you off air. But it was quite, it was very quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and you wouldn't even think there was any match going on. But hey, we saw the results last night. Now Spain will be enjoying until the next 4 years, right?
Yes, you. Well, it's been an exciting time. We hope that you enjoy the World Cup. I'm thinking, myself and you, right? We're putting pressure on Shadrach Abe, our lead producer. We all had as part of one of the many things to talk about this morning. I think this one should hold, right? So we'll talk about it for our this morning segment. But welcome to the show. Promises to be quite exciting across our social media handles where we're streaming live TV3 Ghana. Good morning to you, Pai Fianku, and your husband is called David as well. Pai Fianku works with Engineers and Planners. You know that their group chief executive is Chairman Ibrahim Mahama. His lead driver is Alhaji Nuruddin, and all the guys who work there, including Rafiq. Good morning to all of you. Chairman Prosper with Proslet Group of Companies as well as Smart Shipping. And then, of course, we have Godwin Tamaklo, who also is the chairman for the RAID Group. And Salifu Combat, that's Dr. Salifu Combat of the National Health Insurance Authority. And then, of course, Edmond Combat of the Temawa Refinery and Alhaji. Everything. I hope you're well. What else are we doing? Because for big issues, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia yesterday, whilst the World Cup was about starting, put together a message for the Ghanaian public and called on the President, John Dramani Mahama, to not assent to the now passed from Parliament, the Tribunal's bill. And so I went through the bill as well. It dominated discussions on Saturday morning. And it looks like he put the icing on the cake for us to kickstart the conversation this morning. He wanted to trend this morning, so he's achieved his aim. So we'll be having Eddie Tamaklo as well as now vying for the first vice chairmanship for the MPP in the national executive elections. Currently, the Director of Communications, Richard Anyagba, and lawyer Pia Dankwa. All of us will tinker through the bill do we need to have a tribunal system again? The Constitution does mention it, and so it's being mainstream with the assent of the bill. If it should be by the president, what does it mean? On the other hand, the NDC says it's a campaign promise, and so they are going ahead with it. Is there anything wrong with it at all? We have to go back into time and during the revolutionary period to try to recall, I guess, those sentiments that seem to evoke a lot of emotions among the opposers of the bill, i.e. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, et al. As well. So we'll have some great conversations.
I had issues, I mean, when the Attorney General, it was during his vetting last year that he mentioned that they were going to bring back, of course, reiterating the party's promise. And I was having the same, concern about the memories that this bill or bringing back the tribunals would bring to people, especially those who perhaps suffered or their families suffered that. But you go through the bill. Let's see whether you have a change of mind or not. But honestly, yesterday, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said wasn't so new, because that's what we heard Apenyo Marking, of course, leading the minority in parliament, tell us, that he didn't think that it was necessary for us to go back to those old times and bring these memories back. But I've gone through the bill and the proposal plus the act itself that would establish this, and I'd encourage you to go through as well. And let's see, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is calling for the president not to assent to it, so we can have a broader stakeholder consultative or consultations around these. And so let's see whether really, if you go through it, we have to go through the consultations like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is calling for, or perhaps it is self-explanatory. What I noticed when I read through the preamble, as it were, of this proposal was the intentional effort, as it were, to clear all these fears on the tribunals, what they meant in the 80s, and why we seem to be towing a different direction, although it's the same name. So you go through it yourself, and the important thing is that we have a good understanding of it and a fruitful conversation on it moving forward. Yes.
Well, certainly. And then also we had the minority leader, that's Apenyo Marking, leading a pack of the minority members.
Yes.
Again, asking government to repeal. We have Section 207 and 208 of the Criminal Offences Act. And so as we have it, well, they're saying at 29, that sections or those two sections need to be repealed. But we also know there's also a section in the Electronic Communications Act that also could be used as well.
Yes.
So we need to talk broadly. Do we need sanity? What do we need to undertake? I think what we all agree on is the fact that if you undertake any speech that is an affront to anybody's right, so to speak, you don't have to be jailed. So if you insult, you castigate and defame, etc., you don't have to be jailed. But at the end of the day, how do we intend sanitizing the system?
Yes.
Because even in some of the well-developed democracies, people are jailed for sometimes posts on Facebook, etc. And today we'll take a look at some of those numbers as they are
like
publicly.
you said, let's look at, of course, the courts interprets the laws of our land, but let's look at where we place the balance.
I agree.
That yes, we don't have to jail you, but I also have a responsibility in terms of what I say. The fact that I have my microphone and I have my social media account, or even I have a platform, doesn't mean that I can just say anything. But if I do say anything, how do you use the law fairly also to address whatever it is that I've said? And
fantastic.
I look forward to what your guests will be saying.
I feel like insulting you this morning because part of free speech, but it's okay. So please join. I will bring you the latest sports headlines, but also telling all of you to also contribute to our this morning segment, and we're just looking at it straight away. What do you make of Ghana's participation in the World Cup? How it also ended yesterday, and then generally how the World Cup was convened and then also put together by FIFA jointly with the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico as well. Next. have a Christian tiki-taka, so to speak. And so far, it looks like Spain exhibited that. They also have a great following alongside the other football greats in the world because of how their teams have performed over the last 20 years, particularly for Real Madrid and in more recent years, Barcelona.
Yes.
And as a result of that, you know, we all have to say kudos to the Spaniards. I think what makes it even more memorable is the fact that the losing legend in the Argentine side carried, you know, an infant,
yes,
great member of the Spanish winning team, that's Lamine Yamal, and that story again has great history.
Yes, yes. Look at what AI is doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I saw early this morning.
Because we'll bring you the initial picture that was transposed. So we had the two individuals being transposed. So early on, so there was a whole raffle or something of the sort that was organized by Barcelona to commemorate one of the events I've forgotten now. And it was, I think the parents of Lamine Yamal also decided to take part.
Yes, it was I think it was the UNESCO program.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So then the infant Lamine
yes.
Yamal won.
Yeah.
And so they had to make an emerging star like Lionel Messi at the time from the Barcelona Football Academy to the main team as well, performing around the world and in Europe especially, become the poster boy. And as part of the promotional, he then had to bathe the infant Yamal. And he's gone through the academy as well, following the interests of his parents to take him through the Barcelona Academy. And subsequently, he's also grown in his own right to become an emerging star who, over the last 2 years, has captivated.
The toddler was 19.
So we'll bring you that picture. We're looking for that picture. We'll put it on the screen for you so that you take a look at the current AI trend or meme.
Yes.
And then, so to speak, what the initial or the original picture was.
But Barca fans must be very excited this morning.
They always will be.
Congratulations.
I'm a Real Madrid fan when it comes to the Spanish teams.
Okay.
And so I'll see how it goes. Because they already have Mourinho to bring some discipline because over the last 6 months or over the last season.
I say Jose Mourinho?
Yeah, it's been very chaotic in the camp of Real Madrid.
Yes.
Lamine Yamal. So
okay.
Okay, do you have the picture now?
Not here, but we can read messages.
Google is not working around this morning, so we'll try and get...
picture. Yes. This is from Mr. Simon Yenhua, Upper West Region. Says, good morning, Beatrice and Roland. For me, bringing back the tribunal court is not so much about honoring a campaign promise, but timely delivery of justice. Under the traditional court, we have seen cases spanned through decades and eventually forgotten. I pray that both Parliament and the President do the needful. Sherry Giovanni says, 2026 FIFA World Cup, he says, I think the lack of investment in football in Africa, especially the sub-Saharan region, is the major problem why African teams aren't going far in football, because about 70% of the top guys doing well in football are blacks. Talking about Mbappe, Saka, Rashford, Nico Williams, Jeremy Doku, among others. Look at the brilliant performance by Lamine Yamal, great guy. With much investment in football, Ghana and other African countries can also go beyond the knockout stages. I'm happy for Spain because they are closer to Africa and has some blacks among them, unlike Argentina. Good morning, Dr. Yausa Kodie. I think Sherry Giovanni is making a point, Roland, you were making earlier before we started the show about really people's assessment of how far we went in the World Cup. There's another message from Theo Annan. He's a police officer. He says the Black Stars coach himself was the problem. Oh, the new one. And he said, I said it here. The system he played at the World Cup is alien to Ghana football. He should just leave in peace. The problem with Ghana football is clear. It's painful that 44 years on, we are making the same mistakes. No one seems ready to dissolve the GFA and the entire Black Stars team and rebuild from scratch.
All right, we have Willie Graham, who will be joining us. He's an experienced sports journalist as well, has worked across the various stadia when it comes to some of the big events across the world, not only in Ghana, but also on the African continent and elsewhere across the world. So just ready to... Benji, good morning to you, Willie.
Good morning, Brother Roland. How are you?
Yeah, but the organization of the World Cup, what's your own observation so far? What's your own conclusion about how it was organized, and then your own description?
I think it was, I would say, it's more like American Super Bowl World Cup sort of. But again, it clearly gave us an indication that FIFA wanted to portray something. FIFA wanted to give us a taste of what probably we've missed a couple of years back. Remember, when we had the World Cup back in South Africa, it was hailed as one of the best World Cups across the world. And then Brazil also came and hosted this. And then you talk about South America also saying that, well, that was one of the best World Cups. And so you go on and talk about
But you say that when it comes to the organization in itself, but more so for its commercial value for FIFA and the host country, it's been one of the most profitable, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course, ticket sales were sky. I mean, it was very much expensive. Some
So Ebenezer Ajete says that the Constitution of Ghana gives us the freedom of speech, but our freedom of speech doesn't give us the right to spread falsehoods, insult, or verbally abuse others. There are rules and regulations to every right and freedom being enjoyed to prevent the abuse of rights, because we have the platform or the social media platform, so to speak. And this one, Atika James in Tamale says that football nowadays is for young people. So if you're old, go and play golf. I'm surprised. All right. And so we also have this one from, you're laughing at, Philip Abochi in Qatar says that, I seriously support the idea of creating tribunals. Accountability must be upheld. Then he also continues on sports. Our participation in the World Cup was totally poor. And then advises, we need to organize our team and systems to be competitive at the international level. All right. Philip Abochi from Qatar. And then also I have this one coming from Eben from Kwabinya. He says, if I may ask, what at all is Dr. Baumia and his MPP hiding in their cupboard that they are afraid of? The tribunal's bill has come to stay, to fast-track corruption and other cases that have kept so long. No amount of noise-making will stop the signing of the bill. And that's coming from Eben in Kwabinya. And then Emmanuel from Kufodia, failure to make an impact at the World Cup is mainly due to poor preparation. As a result, the GFA must back up and then congratulate Spain. Emmanuel from Kufodia. And not just Ghana's frustration, but the entire African continent. If they don't want us to participate in the World Cup again, they shouldn't give us the opportunity. But for them to rob us of a fair game is not the best. Sheila in Cape Coast, Sheila is a football fan, is not happy, makes a claim that FIFA is conspiring, so to speak. My own words, to paraphrasing or trying to extract my own understanding of her text. And then also, we have this one from Grandpa Sampa, the border city and the capital of German North. And say, at long last, the World Cup is over and Spain has silenced Argentina and Messi. Kudos to Lamine Yamal and all the players of the Spain national team. This certainly has got to be a Barcelona fan. Honorable Grandpa, good morning to you. And then this is Peter T. from Shukura. I think that in our quest to win trust and confidence in our judicial system, we need to be sure that we maintain some standards that can establish the need of ensuring accountability and prudent economic leverage. And then Kwamena Acidity Ahafo Achinswa also sends us a message and says, congratulations to the Spanish national team for being crowned the FIFA World Cup winners. They really deserve the champions, and says a special good morning to one Owusu Nkrumah Babio. And he claims he's the incoming Ahafo regional chairman. And then Peter T. from Shukura again. Peter T., you've had your morning inspired. Sefia Moklu also sends a message and says congratulations to Barcelona for winning the World Cup of Argentina. Hi, Barcelona fans. Sherry Giovanni, good morning to you, Samuel. Also sends, I think that the lack of investment in football in Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, is a major problem why African teams aren't going far in football, because about 70% of the top guys doing well in football are blacks. Talking about Mbappe, Saka, Rashford, Nico Williams, Jeremy Doku, among others. Look at the brilliant performance by Lamine Yamal. Great guy. And then we have a couple more messages as well. And Richard Amankwakwashi, good morning to you, says that great work. It was exciting watching the football as well. And then Prince Nania York says that some cases remain unresolved for decades, up to 32 years, yet a tribunal could resolve them quickly. Why oppose it? Similarly, people accused of minor offenses like stealing a chicken often languish in remand for 2 or more years, while a tribunal could either acquit them or convict them to serve their sentence speedily. Pairing this approach with the community service could work hand in hand to ease the severe overcrowding in our prison. From Prince New York in the UK. And then also Prince Henry Kofodia says that, what is Dr. Baumia afraid of? Dr. Baumia should advise Ken Oforiatta to come and account to all of us as well. All right. And Ralph in Akuse says that I'm more happier that Spain won. Not only because I'm a fan of CR7, that'll be Ronaldo. I wanted England to win. Ghana drew with England and England won bronze. It means Ghana didn't go there to play. Okay, Ralph. And then also Kofi Kwating Amanin. Okay. I've seen your message. You said we've been feeding you poison. Okay, we'll see how that goes. And then
I see a lot of shade in the messages that are coming.
Okay, so we have more messages coming through. So okay. All right. So I have one from Landlord Borga D Line. I haven't read this one, 18 years. So, okay. So, Ima from, okay, let me see this one. Okay, Caesar Dakura Inside Rapper says that the Barcelona fans are very happy. Most of our players are playing in the World Championship in the final game between both teams. Greetings to Cletus Dapila as well. And then Yima from Navongo says, if Africa teams were well-resourced with the best coaches in this 2026 World Cup, I think Argentina did not deserve the finals in this World Cup. And that's for Yima from Navongo, the very annoyed football fan this morning. Congratulations to Spain. Now it's Aisha Speed. Now Aisha Speed will be very happy. Yeah. Aisha Baby from Asamain Kesi, Asamain, all those in Asamain, good morning to you. And we want to win in the world as Ghanaians, but we don't have the structure for this. We need to start recruiting young guys, age 18 years now, and by 4 years, we'll also have excellent guys. And it also talks about investment. Landlord Borga D Line says that when I hear MPP saying they will return to power and save Ghana, they just make me laugh. The current government's performance isn't perfect, but the MPP should give us a break. And then also, and kudos to Spain. It says my team won, no name there. And some cases remain unresolved for decades, up to 32 years. New York. I read your message, Prince in New York as well. And then we have Samuel Inakachi says that good morning, Uncle Roland and TV3. Messi fans take shame and are shouting Barca. Meanwhile, their goat, Lord Percy. Who is Lord Percy? Or it means that Lord Messi. Okay.
I guess so.
Okay.
Never sees
a single pass to the final third as a playmaker, the number 10. You're talking about yesterday's game. Based on the statistics, he lost a crucial final game to a 19-year-old boy, despite the help of FIFA and referees from the beginning of the tournament. And that's from Samuel in
because of yesterday's game, yes, ESPN FC says Argentina are the first team in the last 60 years without a single shot in the first 90 minutes of a World Cup final.
People, I'm on for.
Perhaps I can read 2 more messages before we all right. So thank you very much for your messages. I've seen Aziz Donla. I've seen Master Planner Junior as well. Thank you, all of you, for your messages. Well, pack up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of peck milk shortcake. It is just pure delight. Find them in any grocery shop around you. And we'll come back. We'll bring you the big issue with Roland Walker, sports, and some more. Do stay with us.
We are ready to
join us across our social media platforms. And then also let's have some exciting discussions this Monday morning. It's time for big issues as always. Please remember, we also have to tell you that it's brought to you by the University of Gold Coast. And as it is, please make sure that we also look at the discussions coming up. This morning, we'll be looking at the call by the presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, not to accent to the recently passed by Parliament, the Tribunal's bill. And of course, once assented to, well, subsequently means that fully becomes an act of Parliament that has to be implemented. And so we'll take a look at that, and then we'll look at some concerns that have been raised also by the minority when it comes to sections 207 and 208 of the Act 60 as we have it, and then also look at whether people have to be jailed, or perhaps when convictions are from the courts, we have to have people jailed, so to speak, when it comes to their social media postings, free speech, or posts that are made in related matters. I see a number of you already on our stream. We're grateful that you've joined us. Money. I also see Kwesi Mensah watching us from Albany, New York. I'm sure by this time he's just at work. We'll be closing from work as well. Patrick Kingatia, thank you. Money. And then also Zilis Dwayne, Shaddai Adute, and a couple of you as well. Vida, we're grateful. Please make sure you share the stream. Let's have some insightful discussions. I have Eduji Tamaklo, Director Legal for the NDC as well, also doubles as the CEO for the MPA. Good morning to you, Eduji.
Good morning, Roland, and good morning to my learned senior, Andrew, and good morning to your good self. I want to use this platform to say a good morning to your cherished viewers and those online. They are very religious.
Yes, very religious. And
very religious.
Lawyer Pierre Dankwa is also here. It's also a good morning to you, lawyer. Yeah. Well prepared for his job this morning.
Yeah, so good morning to you, good morning to your lovely viewers. Always a pleasure and privilege sharing this platform with my brother Eduji. Hopefully we can have a very good discussion in service of our God and our country.
And then from the stables of the man who made the call himself, from the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we'll have the Director of Communications for the MPP right here in the studio, Richard Anyagba. But first, let's recall that instead from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the presidential candidate-elect of the MPP.
I speak to you on a matter that has the potential to reshape our justice delivery system, confidence in our judiciary, and the future of our democracy altogether. The attempt to reintroduce tribunals into Ghana's judicial system. I have one respectful request of President Mahama. Mr. President, do not assent to this bill. Pause and let the nation ponder and deliberate on this very important matter. This is not a partisan request. The Trades Union Congress, the voice of millions of Ghanaian workers, has called for the bill to be withdrawn altogether, warning that in its current form, it could become a potent tool for weaponizing justice delivery. Those are the words of Ghanaian workers, not of any political party. Justice belongs to no government and no party. It belongs to the Ghanaian people. And a law that reshapes the architecture of justice should rest on national consensus, not on head count.
And Richard Anyagba is Director of Communication for the MPP. He's right here. Good morning to you, Richard. I understand you're going for first vice chair.
Yes, please.
Okay. When are you doing the filing?
Well, that process starts later on in September.
In September. All the best to you. I'm sure you're already touching base with your stakeholders.
Roland, I think it's only fair if I have my brother from Aflao contesting for a big position like vice chair of the MPP. I think that he should go for it. I can wish him well for the MPP election, but for the general election, definitely I can't wish him well. But let me make this point. I think that the MPP as a political party must provide a national outlook by having people like this in their national setup. Coming from the Volta region, that narrative around the MPP, they need to work on it aggressively. And one of the things that you do is to have people representing all shades at the current National Executive Committee of the MPP. I think Volta is completely lost out. Now, a key region like Volta region not represented in a political party like the MPP is obviously, it takes that national thing out of it. And so I want to appeal to the delegates of the PP. I don't like how he communicates. And I've always told him, yes, Richard, the way he communicates, I don't like it. But at least for the sake of having a national outlook of the MPP, why not?
Oh, I don't know. They already have a national outlook.
We don't struggle to be national.
Their candidate is Dr. Maudubon.
We don't struggle to be national. That's the point I'm making.
I don't know where this mischief is coming from.
Oh, how is this mischief?
So what's the point Dr. Maudubon wants to put across?
Well, let me say good morning to you.
You've been taken aback, eh?
No,
don't mind Duji. It's part of his communication strategy.
That's why Duji is the usual. But I admire him also, and I wish him well in his office.
I'm not going for any election.
No, I'm saying your office. No,
well,
the office,
well,
MPA. But I don't wish him well for 2028.
Oh, look at this man.
And I also don't like his communication because
So you both don't like each other?
No, we don't. Because the objective is that we're trying to communicate a certain position. We think that we have a superior position. They think that they have a superior position. And ultimately, what you saw in 2024, what it did, and said to Ghanaians, part of their communication, now realize that it's propaganda they did. 24-hour economy. I think yesterday I was seeing somewhere Sami Jemfi was responding to somebody who said that, he doesn't know what President Mahama's vision is. And Sami Jemfi was responding saying that, President Mahama said he would do 24-hour economy. He didn't say that. Okay, but today, we know he said 24-hour economy, but we don't have 24-hour economy. So that is their communication, and we don't like that.
I think I've withdrawn my support from it.
Support withdrawn. Please go ahead.
No, please give it. Once given, it can't take it back.
It cannot be retracted and taken.
I thank you, and nice to see Eduji and my brother Andy. No, I'm not Apia Dankwa. Andy Dankwa.
Andy Apia Dankwa.
Yeah.
Apia Dankwa.
But I know I don't. I like the Andy.
Andy Dankwa. Okay.
You know, the tribunal, for how many years now? Is it exactly 34 years or so? We've been engaged in this Fourth Republic. And this provision for tribunal has been on the books all this while, hasn't been activated by President Jerry Rawlings, hasn't been activated by President Kufuor, hasn't been by President Mahama I himself, President Mills, Akufo-Addo. And so for it to be brought now creates some wonder. I really don't know what the need for it is, and most certainly the urgency for which processes are breached, for it to be implemented against all caution, against all objection. I don't know. Maybe Eduji will tell us what it is that is motivating the drive for tribunals. If the objective is to clear the backlogs and ensure expeditious delivery of justice, we understand that. But then there's a way to do that now with the system we operate, rather than reinvent what is a pain point for many. to look at the history of tribunals in our country, especially close to their tradition, I think that it is unacceptable and most especially insensitive for the NDC to ignore, public objection to this bill and want to move ahead full steam to bring this about. So I think that the call by our flag bearer to put this on ice for just a little while so we can have constructive conversation about it, assess whether we truly do need this now, and if we need it, are there no other options that we can embrace to guide us to achieve the same objective that this is coming to achieve. I think that President Mahama will be doing a great service to this country, to his legacy, if he listens to this. Because, in fact, we're talking about the entire country, largely opposed to this, the minority opposed to this. And the shocking thing is that in the midst of all that opposition, time is not given for deliberation, but rather processes are breached to ensure that this goes through. So it leaves me wondering, what problem do we want to solve? And I agree with the perception or the view expressed that if this is allowed to carry, it will entrench the view that justice delivery in Ghana is up for grabs. That is, in another rendition, what President Mahama said in his famous reference to Supreme Court rulings as unanimous FC. In other words, the judicial system is up for grabs, right? And so the NDC, who was in opposition and had a certain disposition relative to justice delivery in the country, and forwarding the perception that, somehow the MPP has hijacked and rulings are going in our favor. You remember the famous statement by Kandapa suggesting, and the NDC applauding that, it appears that ruling is going in favor of the MPP in some cases. Would take a position today that would clearly affirm, given the history of tribunals, that they are up to no good. Because the perception of this whole thing and the objection, the basis of the objection, is that these tribunals will be weaponized to target political opponents. And if that perception remains, and it's not as if...
Where's the perception coming from? Your side of the political divide?
No, not outside. I mean, the TUC expressed the same perception. And TUC literally is representing workers' bodies across this country. And so we're talking about Ghanaians opposed to that. So the minority, essentially, we are reaffirming or amplifying the voice of the country. And I think that President Mahama should listen to the call that the former Vice President, our flag bearer, has put through for purposes of ensuring that our judicial system is not bastardized any further, but take steps to bring, credibility and restore the integrity of the judicial service or judicial system of our country, which he himself said in opposition that is battered, and call it a unanimous FC. So the steps required now is not any step that would further worsen its reputation and public perception, but rather one that rehabilitate and redeem whatever it is that the judicial service is or legal the justice delivery in our country is facing, to ensure that as a people we all have confidence in it. I cannot understand if President Mahama refuses to heed this call, because it is a call in the right direction, and I think that it is better for us. And if at any rate, the NDC feels that the backlogs must be worked on, there are many, many options without reinventing the wheel or without introducing this bill. Investing in the current system, build infrastructure, employ or appoint more judges to make sure that the cases are dealt with. Today, AI is all over the place. You can leverage digital court system to ensure that we accelerate the delivery
just
of justice.
Just to be the main object for
which is the main object for it. It's not as if anything extraordinary requires a tribunal. It is to dispense justice and to do so expeditiously while we are doing this. So if that's the case, invest in the existing system, build infrastructure, appoint more people, and ensure that it works more expeditiously to achieve the objective you're trying to bring the tribunal to accomplish.
As you respond to that, Duji, even in the preamble in itself of this bill, it says that as part of measures to address this lacuna, and lacuna says that we need to expedite cases in court, etc. There's the need to establish a clear constitutional and statutory basis for the operation of tribunals within the present democratic system, address the historical stigma associated with public tribunals in itself. Okay. So at the end of the day, we have to recall history, and recent history, of course, has given us a certain sense that the government in the Fourth Republic haven't had the appetite to introduce it, despite it being in the Constitution. But also historically, if anybody would have to lend credence, it doesn't evoke good sentiments. Eduji.
I think that whenever you are doing politics with our friends in the MPP, one of the things that you must recognize is that if you do something and the thing is not coming from the MPP, it is wrong, prima facie.
I don't understand.
So first of all, they have always not really agreed, truly and truly, the 1992 Constitution. Their belief in it has always been one of convenience. Why do I say so? At the time of the promulgation of the 1992 Constitution, in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, what they decided to do was to put in that Constitution, that document, that governing document, the establishment of the tribunal system. So the tribunal system as we have it is a constitutional imperative. Kindly read for me Article 152 of the 1992 Constitution. Article 152. I don't know if you have it.
Yes, I do. Okay. It says a panel of lower court or tribunal other than...
Hold on. So right there in Article 152 is the recognition by the Constitution itself of the establishment of the tribunal. So the current tribunal arrangement that we have is a constitutional creature. 2, the same Constitution said there shall be a high court and regional tribunal. It is the same 1992 Constitution. That is why I'm saying that our friends in the MPP are convenient believers of the 1992 Constitution. They only believe it when it suits them. But what they cannot understand is how a man called J. Rawlings, together with a few ordinary people, could put such a document together. And look, one of the things that you cannot take away from J. Rawlings is the fact that this is the longest serving constitution, not even the Nkrumah one. And nobody in the stock of the MPP has been able to put a national document together that has been able to stand more than 10 years. None of them, of all their wisdom they claim they have. Now, I find extremely curious the proposition by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I decided yesterday to give him the benefit of the doubt, to listen to him and see what exactly are his concerns with the tribunal to be established or having so been passed by Parliament. And there was no such thing. The other thing that I found curious is that, look, Roland, who was the MPP presidential candidate in the 2024 election?
Of course, DAB.
Good. It's obvious that at the time he led the MPP into that disaster of an election, he never took time to read the NDC manifesto. Listen.
As in what?
Yes. As a leader, you need to read and understand what your opponent is offering in the election. Bawumia never read the NDC manifesto. And that's completely revealing.
Why should he? What's the point with the NDC manifesto?
You see, you are selling a story. Your opponent is selling a story. You need to study what he is offering. Then you can counter it. Look, the NDC manifesto under enhancing justice delivery, the NDC manifesto, this is what it says. It's in our manifesto. It says, quote, establish regional tribunals as provided for under Article 142 of the 1992 Constitution. Is Dr. Bawumia saying that he never saw this in the NDC manifesto? We put this as our social contract to the people of this country. Overwhelmingly, they supported this manifesto with 56% of valid votes against 42%. You understand? So first of all, this document, and it didn't only end there. Further, it proceeds, they say manifesto. It says, quote, support the Chief Justice to establish regional tribunals provided for under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution, and listen carefully, pass a law to reintroduce the community and circuit tribunals first established under the Courts Act, but abolished under the Courts Amendment Act 2002 Act 620. So this is what the NDC put on the table. You had a different version. When we went into the election, overwhelming support was given to this document called the NDC Manifesto. Where was Richard Ahiagba?
But that is why he says that it's not everything that has to be passed into law. That has to be passed into law.
Hold on. But the president went to the people of Ghana and said, this is what I'm offering, menu. Then the people said, we want this, we want this, we want this. We don't want this, we don't want this. You went preaching digitalization. We offered public tribunals, among others. Ghanaians weighed the two and said, we want this. Now you are saying that the one that Ghanaians didn't vote for, you had a superior idea, and that what Ghanaians voted for should be ignored and take what was not voted for. Who would do that? Would that not be a breach of President Mohammed's social contract to the people of this country? But you see, on the substantive matter, I have asked leading members of the MPP, and particularly their lawyers, what exactly are the concerns with the public tribunal so it can be resolved? Look, Roland, I have with me the report of the Joint Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Judiciary. So, in Parliament as constituted today has a Judiciary Committee. And guess who chairs the Judiciary Committee of Parliament? Do you know who chairs it? An MPP member. The chairman of the Judiciary Committee of Parliament today is an MPP member. The ranking is my senior Bezidin. Now guess what? The ranking on the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee is the respected lawyer Enyumedu Entry. And guess who the deputy ranking is? The lawyer Hassan Tampoli. And these are no mean lawyers. Now, when the committee met, the Speaker received this thing on February 26, June 2026. He referred this to the committee. It was gazetted. The gazette is to cure Bawumia's problem of consultation. So that if anybody has a memo, including the MPP as a political party that he leads, what you do in a democracy is that you do a memo to Parliament stating your views and why this law ought not to be passed in the form it is, even at the political party level. Save that.
So you're saying what? All these should have been canvassed at the committee level?
Before the committee level, the memo is generated. The memo, there's a call for memorandum.
Yes.
MPP as a political party, led by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has the opportunity as a political party to say, on the public tribunal, this is our view. Pursuant to this, we submit this memorandum for consideration. But beyond that, when this matter went before the Joint Committee on Constitutional Legal Affairs. And like I pointed out, the chair of that committee, the Judiciary Committee, is an MPP MP. The ranking is actually Honorable Bizidin. Now, guess what the committee said? And this is the report. It's before Parliament. I want to just read the conclusion. Listen. The committee unanimously, what's the meaning of unanimity?
Wholesomely.
Without dissent. Unanimously recommends that the Honorable House adopt this report and pass the tribunal bill in accordance with the 1992 Constitution. Respectfully submitted. Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia saying, at the time he addressed the press, he never spoke to these MPP leading members? In fact, all the members of this committee are persons who have shown publicly that they support Dr. or they are his loyalists. Is Dr. Bawumia, the leader of the MPP, saying that the work of these MPP members, both of the Constitutional, Legal, and the Judiciary Committee, he's not privy to it? And if he's not privy to it, it becomes even more worrying that a man who had put himself out to lead this country, in organizing such a major press conference, will not even ask his own members of parliament, who are members of these two important committees, Constitutional, Legal, and the Judiciary Committee, what their views and what the deliberations in Parliament were. If Dr. Bawumia didn't do that, then President Mahama should not even give him the benefit of even listening
but
to him.
But it's not the
because,
first time
listen.
that we've had a bill passed by Parliament,
hold on.
for which we've had other stakeholders, including he as a leader of a political party,
let me address
coming
something.
To raise concerns about the content of the bill.
With respect, let me.
You have to give it to him, won't you say?
You see, I respect Dr. Bawumia, but you see, what he had done in this particular instance, you can't even control your own house, your own MPs.
Oh, Eduje.
Look, these are not mean committees.
Oh, Eduje, you can't say that.
Constitutional, Legal, Judiciary Committee are two of the most important. In fact, if you pick the Finance Committee, one of the important safeguards of our constitutional arrangement is the Constitutional Legal Affairs. I'm wrapping up. But you see, let me deal with the specifics. The MPP says that the regional tribunal reminds them, or the tribunal system reminds them of our dark history. First of all, with the greatest of respect, in 1992, when this constitution was promulgated and accepted by the people of this country, they restored Article 142. Read it for me.
There shall be established in each region of Ghana such regional tribunals the chief. Okay, so
so
what? Yes.
Shall mandatory.
But he refers to it that all the leaders in the Fourth Republic haven't had the mind or state of mind to say they want to implement this.
So today,
so why now?
The suggestion from the MPP is that part of the constitution should be respected, but part should not be respected. And that is why I say that the MPP, they are just convenient believers of the 1992 constitution. Possibly because they have no, feeling and relationship with the constitution itself. And so when it pleases them, they say, oh, this part is good. When it doesn't, they say no. Look, to provide enough safeguard, and maybe you can take me away from here. Look,
Eduje, please send for me.
Yes. I've seen on your tab. Can you go to clause, because, well, it's now passed, but look at clause 11 and 12 of the bill, which has been passed.
Clause 11 and then
clause
12.
11 of the tribunal, the bill. Clause 11, please.
Okay.
Composition.
Yeah, sure. It says, provides for the appointment of a chairman of a tribunal and the panel members. The president acting on the advice
now, hold on.
Of the Judicial Council is required to appoint them. Yes.
The fear my friends in the MPP have is that President Mahama is going to put NDC people to administer justice.
He also raised concerns about non-lawyers because it's stated in the Constitution as well.
I'm coming there. And that the president is going to put together non-lawyers NDC people to administer justice. And for that matter, justice will not be administered properly. That's their concern. Now, when you read this provision on composition, it says that the president shall, on the advice of the Judicial Council, appoints the chair of the regional tribunal and the district tribunal. So the president's appointment will be on the advice of this. Now look at the composition of the Judicial Council. Ghana Bar Association, there is a judge, a high court judge, a rep of the Association of Judges and Magistrates, a Supreme Court judges. All these individuals are the people who constitute the Judicial Council. Now guess what? Now I want you to do the other panel members, how the appointment, so that Ghanaians will know that these concerns being raised by the MPP are without any basis whatsoever. For the other panel members, when it comes to the regional tribunal, it says, the other panel members shall be appointed by the Chief Justice in consultation with the Regional Coordinating Council on the advice of the Judicial Council. Do you see President Mahama there? Even for the other panel members that the MPP fear, they are non-lawyers, and for that matter, they do not have the capacity, the skill set to administer justice. The law says that it is the Chief Justice who, in consultation with the Regional Coordinating Council, on the advice of the Judicial Council, will do that. So my brother here, if he puts himself up for nomination, the Chief Justice will evaluate him, come to the conclusion that he is fit and purpose to do that. Where has President Mahama got to do with it? So they fear that NDC members will become the panel members. It's completely cured. This is the most progressive enactment that I've seen. But you raise an important point which has to do with the ordinary people. Today, as we speak, when there is a case for murder against you, you are a law student, and we are all students of the law. When there's a case of murder, do you know the punishment for murder? Do you know the punishment for murder? Death. Even that one is a judge and a jury. The jury, who are they? Are they not ordinary members like myself, Richard Anyagba, who constitute the jury for the purposes of a murder trial, where even the sentence is death? He has stayed in America for a long time. In fact, he's an American for the matter, for the purpose of this. As we speak, in America, where he believes and respects so greatly, how are criminals, tried in America?
But this is Ghana.
No, please.
The jurisdiction is Ghana.
He would tell us that America is a good democracy and the practice there is better. Ordinary people. Ordinary people. In fact, the U.S. president today was convicted for federal felony by a judge and ordinary Americans. He believed in that system, but he doesn't believe in a system that allows ordinary people like him to take part in the adjudication of criminal matters. That's completely telling how you see ordinary people in this matter relative to administration of justice.
It evokes the history, or not a very good history, is it not? And for all those who respect history, it also means that I bring back memories of people that may or may not have been adequately received justice under the tribunal system. And so that's why the concerns have been raised. Is that not it?
So let me wish my brother Richard a good morning. He wasn't here when I was dashing felicitations, and I must say that I respect both he and my learned friend Edwidge in terms of the quality of their submissions over the years. But so far as this conversation is concerned, I must say that I'm a bit surprised at why we should even be having this conversation in the first place. And then when you call history, I think the 1992 Constitution is clear. Because when you read the preamble to the Constitution, where the principles and values that Ghanaians agreed ought to govern this Constitution, the final word there says that the people of Ghana do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. It's the people of Ghana. So if there is any opinion that matters, then the opinion of the people of Ghana should supersede all other opinions. And in that opinion, granted in 1992, that's about 34 years ago, I think it was, the position was emphatic, it was clear. And that position was that amongst the architecture of our judiciary should be the creation of the regional tribunal. I think it was clear. And so I do not understand the argument about the history and what words did you use? You said the history and what else?
Sentiments.
Sentiments.
Evokes not good memories.
But in 1992, the people of Ghana emphatically, without any equivocation, clearly stated that as part of our judicial system, we wanted the regional tribunal. Very, very clear. And for me, it's a big surprise that no leader found a need to activate the wishes of the people of Ghana as has been expressly expressed, as has been clearly expressed in the terms of our constitution. So I think that is pretty clear. So if the people of Ghana in 1992 said that we should create a regional tribunal, and if under the auspices of Professor Ayine, this parliament, as it was he drafted and initiated it, and so by extension, His Excellency John Mahama has seen it fit to express his faithfulness to the terms of our constitution by placing before Parliament the need for the creation of a tribunal, and Parliament overwhelmingly has passed same, then I find it very worrying and very disappointing that the leader of the biggest opposition party will call on His Excellency the President not to assent to same. What he's essentially saying is that His Excellency John Mahama kindly show unfaithfulness to the terms of our 1992 Constitution like Nanado did. Do not show faithfulness. Disrespect.
But it's not the first time that we've had Parliament pass a bill, and before he even gets to the level of presidential acts and concerns have been raised by stakeholders, irrespective of the period of memoranda submission, etc.
The only one that happened was the gay, is it the LGBTQ?
Please go ahead. We've had E-Levy, etc.
Parliament has passed the bill. You understand? That the Constitution has granted copious. The same Constitution that created the regional tribunals has provided copiously how the president should behave where a bill has been passed and there's a requirement on him to assent. I think it's clear. I think Article 106. That one he may refer it to, so he has 7 days to assent. If for whatever reason that he should send it to, he may send it to what's it called, Council of State. And then within 14 days, he must state clearly, if he thinks he won't assent, state clearly the issues he has with the bill. And then the bill will then be sent back to Parliament, and then they will deal with the issue. There will be a memo, and after the memo, he must assent. That's the clear provision of the law, of the Constitution. And in spite of that, His Excellency Nanado refused, flouted the law. It could have been a ground for his impeachment, having taken an oath to be faithful to Ghana. And here you have the presidential candidate of the NPP, a person who wants to seek a position that will require of him to take certain oath, want to be faithful to Ghana. Now, an oath that says that you are going to be faithful to Ghana means that you are going to be faithful to the Constitution of Ghana, the values of Ghana, the principles of Ghana. He is required to take an oath to preserve, to defend, and protect the laws of Ghana. That he's going to protect the law that says that we must pass the regional tribunal law. That he's going to protect the law that says that where a bill is presented, is passed by Parliament and presented to the President, there are steps that ought to be taken, which the President is bound. And yet you have this person who wants to be president saying that my current president be unfaithful to Ghana, be unfaithful to the oath that you took. So what is motivating him? And you see, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia is exhibiting the character of the NPP. I've said it here so many times that the NPP is a threat to the rule of law, that the NPP is a party that is reprobate.
The NPP alongside the NDC are the two leading parties in Ghana. Indeed, interchangeably, they've been those heading the executive.
I'm saying that
in two-cycle elections.
I'm saying that specifically with so far as this issue and the call by His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to be unfaithful to Ghana. Well, that's what he's asking of him. That His Excellency John Mahama be unfaithful to Ghana. His Excellency John Mahama do not preserve, protect, and defend the laws of Ghana. I'm saying that he's only exhibiting and confirming my view that the system, the party that sponsored him, is a party that has no regard to the values of this country. It's a party that is unfaithful to Ghana. It's a party that lacks fidelity to the ideals, the values, the principles of this country. It's a party that is reprobate. And he's exhibiting these values. Because why would you, where we have a constitution that says that the people of Ghana hereby adopt, we hereby adopt, we enact and give to ourselves this constitution. And this constitution that we enacted and adopted says that, under Article 142, that as part of our judicial system, ecosystem, we ought to create a regional tribunal. And then if after 34 years, you have a leader who has come and said, listen, in spite of the fact that all the previous leaders have failed to fulfill this desire of the people of Ghana, I'm going to give to them, per what they adopted way back in 1992, a regional tribunal. His Excellency Dr. Bawumia is asking His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to show crass unfaithfulness.
How is that? It's a concern by a leading person as well as individual, and somebody who has been a presidential candidate.
Listen, what I'm saying,
a vice president of the Republic
what I'm
of
saying
Ghana.
is that the people of Ghana
has every right. As it
listen. He does not have a right to fight our constitution, because our constitution, I'm saying that per the preamble, you say what? In the name of the Almighty God, we the people of Ghana and blah 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 blah, the last show, do hereby adopt and act and give to ourselves this constitution. And this constitution includes Article 142. What does Article 142 say? You understand? So that if you have somebody who was a former vice president saying that His Excellency John Mahama do not assent to a bill that has been passed by Parliament, do not assent. What is he in fact saying? And then when you recall that he was vice president to a president who illegally and unconstitutionally refused to assent, because I'm saying that Article 106 grants you avenues where you disagree with any law passed by Parliament. You understand? To refuse to assent, but it's saying that in that refusal, give reasons, give Parliament the chance to correct your issues. But having said that, you see, if the discussion, so in fact, before I go there, one, there's nothing unconstitutional about the passage of this act.
He's not questioning the process and the proceedings leading to the passage. He's questioning the content and ultimately its effect.
No, but what, you see, and that's what my brother Edwin, first of all, spoke about the memo and consultation with the public and what they ought to have done. Now, even in his broadcast yesterday, if he had specific issues with some of the content, he should have made it clear. But he didn't speak to any content. He didn't speak to any specific content. All he said was that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama do not assent to the bill. Now, too, I've listened to the members of the MPP, and largely their premise for disagreeing with the tribunal is based on their claim that, listen, it will give us very horrifying memories. They are saying that it is unconstitutional. And I'm saying that when you read the Constitution, this is a provision, the regional tribunal, is something that the people of Ghana adopted in spite of the so-called horrific or horrifying experience in the past. In 1992, the people of Ghana said we wanted, as part of our judicial architecture, a regional tribunal. And nobody, no leader since then, has taken steps, if they disagreed with that view, to take steps to, as it were, amend and take this out from our constitution. But it still remains part of our constitution. The people of Ghana are still saying that we want the regional tribe to be part of our architecture. And they've not made any argument as to specific provision. Because I would have thought that what we would have done, like we did in the glorious past of this country, is to discuss specific provisions of the act that we have issues with. Myself, I have issues with some of the provisions of this act. For instance, if you have a provision that says that there can never be what's called you stop proceeding, you understand? I have issues with that. You understand?
No, which one?
So when you read, I think section 40 something, it says that you cannot. There cannot be no what's it called?
The appeal.
Not appeal. Let me get to the specific.
Interlocutory appeal.
Not interlocutory appeals. It says that there cannot be any. Just a minute. This is I saw it already.
It says that prohibit. Okay. So clause 42 says provides for the adoption of proceedings by a new panel. Another clause, a new panel may take into consideration matters
and remember that the Court of Appeal, in the case of the Republic versus Dr. Sebin Kwabno Punise, even in a criminal matter, a new panel or a new judge can take over the matter. So the law basically just reaffirmed the decision of the Court of Appeal.
It's not,
so that's really not an issue.
No, there's a
provision. Okay, when you locate it, please.
But you after I'll allocate it about cessation of proceedings. But the point I'm trying to make there is that if you have specific issues with specific provisions, we could have had debates on them. But to make a communication that says that the whole bill or the whole proposed act is unconstitutional in the face of Article 142 of our Constitution, to make a call on the president, you understand, not to assent.
Oh, okay. That's clause 40.
Yeah.
There shall be no stay or proceedings in the case where the Minerals and Mining Act. And this is specific for Galamsey.
I understand, but then, so let's say where there's a clear violation of, let's say, somebody's constitutional right. I think we shouldn't. There should be a way in which people can go upstairs. You understand where they are. You understand. But I'm saying that, like all laws, we have debates on specific provisions,
clause by clause.
Clause by clause. But for you to, and does not mean the fact that we're having debate does not mean that let's say you are necessarily right or wrong. But what I'm saying is that for you to come out and say generally that this is unconstitutional when there's Article 142 that creates it, for you to then be making referrals to horrific past, you see, where we have a constitution that says that one of the underlying principles is the principle of the rule of law, where the act itself has given ways in which there will be safeguards. You understand? And indeed, where there has been a creation of a tribunal committee whose focus is to ensure that ethical standards and the right standards are, for you to be making reference to African past.
I have no doubt in my mind that Dr. Bamia has not
when the essence
this is one of the innovative pieces of legislation I've seen.
The essence of the bill, you understand, is to project the glories of a 1992 constitution. Then, for me, the only conclusion I can come to beyond in agreeing with what my brother is saying now is that this is a group of people who are so unfaithful to Ghana, who do not want to see the progress of Ghana, who have indeed become reprobate, and we should start looking at them carefully.
Mr. Nyagba, just 3 minutes to conclude on the subject matter, then we'll move on to the last issue.
Not enough, because you just have two lawyers.
Do you think they are bamboozling you?
No, not me, but they are bamboozling themselves. You know, creating a situation.
They seem to be in agreement with Parliament.
The more reason why the MPP must elect.
They're bamboozling themselves. You know, if you think about it, they keep referring to MPP. But when I talked, I didn't say MPP once. The only reference I made to MPP was our former Vice President's statement. And I like to read so that we can situate the conversation well. Because the convenience of their discussion...
What are you doing? You're quoting him?
No, I'm not quoting him. The convenience of their conversation is to make it MPP NDC. And my brother, who eventually will come home, is joining him to have that conversation. Now, let's read this thing by TUC. Now, before I read that, you know TUC, the NDC 24-hour economy,
which is mentioned in the bill?
Upcoming, which has had a stillbirth, even though we knew it wasn't going to come, but then, you know, I made the example of Sabi Jemfi touting as what it is. Well, the Secretary General, then Dr. Yauba, was the first advocate of the 24-hour economy, that it will be a game changer for job creation and unemployment.
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
2019, we presented this manifesto.
I'm coming.
The 24.
No, I'm coming.
In 2021, he said, look, this in the 2020 NDC manifesto is worth it.
No, I'm saying that.
Aduje, please allow his time. Allow his time,
With
please.
respect, sorry.
No,
Aduje, please allow his time.
Dr. Yauba is...
We're talking about tribunals.
I'm coming to that. Because,
so it's going to work on a 24-hour basis.
I just want to establish the credibility that NDC associates with the TUC. And then today, he doesn't want to quote it in discussing a very important public issue. He nicknamed the 24-hour economy the game changer. He called it the game changer. Yauba, then Dr. Anthony Yauba.
Who spoke the last time?
When?
For the TUC. No, just for clarification. No. Was it Yauba?
Yes, he was the Secretary General at the time.
No, but
the recent one.
Current one is Joshua Ansah.
So I'm saying that personality differ.
No. TUC is what we're talking about. The institution is uniform and changed. Forget about that.
So your point is that why
my point is that
TUC yesterday.
They believe in TUC. That TUC is credible. But today, he can't quote TUC. But I want us to read TUC, what they say. And this is from the graphic online. Trades Union Congress has opposed the reintroduction of the public tribunal system in Ghana. Now, the whole business of history, the bad and negative, the history of tribunals was not argued by the New Patriotic Party. We talked about the risk of that duplicating the processes we have already and undermining the current system we have. That was our argument in Parliament. We're not saying history necessarily, but the people who are arguing the history, which they fail to adhere to, are their own supporters, the people they put front and center, that they are giving credence to their 24-hour economy. It says what? The TUC has therefore called on the government to halt the legislative process in Parliament intended to enact the tribunals bill. The TUC is manifestly opposed to the idea of resuscitating tribunals, given our collective bitter experiences with tribunals. The tribunals bill, in its current shape and form, strengthens our conviction that tribunals must be abandoned. TUC, not MPP. So everything he said, saying MPP, null and void. MPP didn't argue this. TUC. Now engage TUC now in this matter and say that they are wrong. Don't talk about MPP. It's not MPP. What is happening is duplication that will get us into a very bad space where people can abuse that to persecute political opponents, to take us back to the sad days that all of us were in a hurry to move away from, except the PNDC that wanted to continue. And Andy will agree with me that the NDC, the effort to bring the Fourth Republic about, they were not excited about it. So when he says now that, it is there, the NDC put a document that has lived for 34 years and whatnot, they are reluctant acquiescence to the Fourth Republic. Reluctantly.
How?
Oh, yes. You birthed it reluctantly.
Reluctantly. The 1992 Constitution said you midwife it reluctantly.
Yes.
How?
Absolutely. You understand? So everything that Edwige is saying is convenient. He decides strategically not to mention TUC, to talk about MPP, to make it MPP NDC. This is not MPP. This is Ghanaians. TUC is a sum total of about 17 autonomous trade unions, if not more. So you are talking about the balance of Ghanaians, not MPP. So correct, Edwige should correct his position. My brother should correct his position about MPP. It's not MPP, it's Ghanaians. Now, I agree. I agree with Andy when he talks about this is more or less constitutional and whatnot. It is. But the question is it has been in the Constitution. Rawlings was president. Are we going to say that he flouted the Constitution? He didn't uphold the Constitution?
It was done.
But I'm saying that it was Kufuor was the president. Are we going to say he flouted the Constitution?
It was Kufuor who removed it.
I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. President Mahama was president just before now. Okay? He didn't introduce it then. So are we saying that he flouted the Constitution?
You have not responded to our manifesto committee.
I'm coming there. On your manifesto. To say that because it's in your manifesto is gospel. Very surprising. Incredible situation.
Oh, how?
Very incredible. So IDG is telling us that their manifesto is like gospel. Oh. Is that what you're saying?
I don't understand.
Okay. No, assuming that that's what you're saying.
You presented a manifesto we presented.
No problem.
Which was overwhelmingly. So which part of it should be implemented and which one should
No problem. The part of it that should be implemented is what matters now. It is what the then Dr. Anthony Yauban, the Secretary General of TUC. No, I'm going along the lines you have established. Says that the 24-hour economy is a game changer. Why are you not implementing that?
Richard, are you serious?
Why haven't you implemented that? Because right now in our country, what we need is jobs. What we need to cure is unemployment. You are not doing that one. You're not doing that one. So if your manifesto is gospel, then implement that. Right? The Women's Development Bank.
Secretariat for.
Oh, but you've heard.
Forget about.
You've heard the president.
But let me finish.
The president say 400 million have been allocated.
But we don't have. We have
heard. Why is it that
we have heard? We have heard. I'm coming. Let me just allow quickly.
You seem to want to turn the conversation into a 24-hour economic conversation.
No, but you are here when he asked me that they presented a manifesto.
No. Didn't make it a 24-hour.
Why interrupting so much? But he said to me,
please allow him to.
Why he said to me that they presented a manifesto that won the day. Is that not what he said?
Absolutely.
The 24-hour economy is in their manifesto. And I said they should implement that one. So because he's telling us that because it was in their manifesto, they must implement it. And I'm saying, what about that? Because the urgent problem of the country is unemployment. You haven't implemented that. You told women, you established a Women Development Bank. You haven't established that. Talking about allocation is not a bank. Is allocation equal to a bank?
4-year mandate.
Master, forget about that. So we'll die before you get to implement it. The 24 hours, when people want jobs now,
you are not there any time until you see another defeat.
Allow him to make it.
And then the other point about their manifesto. You know, the Feed Ghana, the Agri for Economic Transformation, anchored by the Feed Ghana program. It's a 4-year program. Ask him if they have implemented it. Is it not in their manifesto? Then Kukon Kitinkiti, they said, is it not in their manifesto, which he says is gospel? Is it not in? Have they implemented that? Short of giving chicken for people to eat? Is that what he's talking about? So because tribunal is in their manifesto, when Ghanaians object to it, Edwige said we should implement it. Very, very confounding. When Trade Union Congress says no, you say you want to. Now you divert nicely, speaking very fine lawyer language and trying to tell us that it's MPP. It's not MPP. It's Ghanaians that don't want it. Look, Edwige, you should learn from us. We just came out of government and we have learned a lot. When Ghanaians say they don't want something, they don't want it. Don't force it on them. Don't make it about MPP and force it on them. This is wrong. Now, we have a situation
which Ghanaians? You said Ghanaians.
I just told you Trade Union Congress. Are they Togolese? Are they from Burkina Faso?
So TUC and then?
TUC is Ghana.
And then which other body? Apart from TUC, MPP, and then which other body again?
What do you want again? I said TUC is Ghana. Which other variant of Ghanaians do you want? So I am telling you that.
The position you make is that
the point I'm making to you.
You want the sum of views that will be a representation of the Ghanaian population, and which a final body of amalgamated Ghanaians than Parliament of Ghana, which is a representation of all Ghanaians across 276 constituencies of our republic, which will be more representative of the views of Ghanaians. irrespective of the views
do you
of
know,
the
do you know,
NPP and
I see where you're going with that. Do you know
No,
that, I'm coming,
it's a
do you know the
question.
membership?
I'm not making a point.
No
I'm
problem.
asking a
But you
question.
asked a question for a reason, so I see where you're going.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Wait, so
Please answer my question.
No, I'll answer your question.
Okay.
What is the membership of parliament?
276.
276. What is the membership of TUC?
About
17.
We are talking.
You said 17.
No, a sum total. Those are bodies.
Only
the,
one
the
person
groupings.
spoke.
And then the sum total of the
Their steering
of the
committee met.
representatives
This
of
is
the
not.
two-
This is not Mr.
we are
Joshua.
not-
Hold on.
we are not
It is
sure.
their
No,
steering
no.
committee
Okay,
that made and took a collective position against the tribunal. Not one person speaking out of his own will. It's a collective position.
And the steering committee,
Yes.
how many members?
But we are talking about.
So the sum
we are
total
talking
of
about parliament. Hold on.
276 members
You
of
see, I see,
parliament across
well,
the constituencies.
They are talking about parliament. Parliament represents MPs represent constituency, and then the collective represent
They represent
Ghanaians.
Ghanaians.
I'm saying that
Totality.
MP represent a constituency, and the collective 276 represent Ghanaians.
Yes.
Okay, the steering committee represent the working, but the amalgamation of the groups of worker unions that have come together to form the TUC.
So they are representatives.
So they are representing Ghanaians. And I'm telling you that on this matter, the way you are nitpicking to try and let me define what Ghanaian population or number is critical for the President Mahama to listen to this is very shocking. But I'm telling you that if that bill is coming, the convenience of the argument to say it is MPP is completely false because it's not MPP that is advocating against it.
Ghanaians.
It's the Ghanaians that are advocating against it. So the truth of the matter is that Edwin must come clean and address TUC and say that you guys are being unreasonable. You guys are calling on President Mahama not to keep fidelity to the Constitution. You are making President Mahama to go against the Constitution. You should say that. Look in the camera.
So what would you advocate? That rather we amend sections of the Constitution that mention tribunals?
Yes. So they are saying.
I'm asking you. What would you advocate? That we amend sections of the Constitution?
What I am saying, I have said earlier, but you just decide not to hear it. The point I'm telling you is that this has been in our Constitution from day one. Okay? It has not broken anything about this country. Justice delivery is proceeding as it ought to. If the NDC has concerns about it, there are ways to address it. Invest in infrastructure, okay? Invest in digital technology to ensure that you have means of dispensing justice expeditiously. And Edwige is a lawyer. He has fantastic ideas to do that, okay? You can do that. Appoint more judges to deal with the matter. That's what you need to do. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. What we have is not broken. You should fix that. Creating a parallel structure, almost duplicating the effort we have now. One is a waste of resource, okay? It's a vain attempt, and it goes against the collective position of the Ghanaian people, not MPP. Ghanaians, represented by the TUC, says that they don't like it. So please don't make it about Ghana. And in your manifesto, which you want to present to us as gospel.
Like 10 minutes.
No. But you see the interruption. That you present to us as a gospel has many things that you have not implemented, which are needed now. Please focus on that one and leave this thing which Ghanaians don't appreciate.
Roland, can we end this debate on this, and then we move on to the subject matter of...
Roland is curious.
Because the minority says repeal.
It's curious that the finance minister had put out there that there will be a mid-year budget review. And we're expecting that at least the former vice president, noted for the economy, would at least tell the finance minister what he should focus on relative to the economy. He had decided to abandon the economy to look at this. I mean, that's fine. That's profound. But you see, this morning, I found it extremely curious when my brother makes the point that, why create a new structure when the existing can be enhanced and among others. In fact, these were concerns that came before the committee. And the Attorney General respectfully addressed those committees. He said, look, one of the things that we'll do is that noted that the judicial independence is essential for maintaining public confidence. The Attorney General agreed with the committee and stated that the government remains committed to safeguarding the independence of the judiciary. More importantly, and this is profound, the Attorney General further informed the committee that government is taking steps to adequately resource the judiciary. He indicated that the government has approved the retention of 100% of the judiciary's internally generated funds and provided funding for establishment of specialized courts. The point I'm making is that you can chew corn and still walk. The whole idea is that you must stop, sit down, chew corn before you move. It's neither here nor there. Your own conduct in government, the past 8 years, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was the Vice President of the Republic, does not give credence to this suggestion. Why did you create the office of the Special Prosecutor? You felt there was a need. At that time, there was a functioning YOCO. There was a functioning Ghana Police CID. There was a functioning SHRAJ. There was a functioning Attorney General. But you still felt that there was the need for the OSP. Why didn't you rather enhance the capacity of the Attorney General and YOCO to investigate those matters, but found the need to establish the OSP? I am not going on this platform to say that the OSP was not necessary. It was a campaign promise by you, and you felt there was the need for it, and you went ahead to establish it. That's what you decided to do.
But you know,
that's what you decided to do with the benefit of power.
You know, it's even a UN requirement part of fighting corruption.
You see, this morning,
okay, so it's not
this morning,
a convenient thing that we did. So you
and
know
listening to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Alhaji, something becomes extremely revealing. That there is a disconnect between him as the leader of the MPP and the flag bearer.
That's not true.
And his trusted loyalists in parliament.
That's not true.
Because you see, whereas his trusted loyalists, the MP for Nkoko, the Honorable Frimpong, the Honorable MP for Fantiakwa, among others, who one is the chairperson of the Judiciary Committee and the other is the vice chair. My senior Hassan Tampoli, my senior, what's the name? Enyimedu. Yeah. These are very respected lawyers. At the committee level, the concern their flag bearer is raising, and this is the committee's report, viewers. The concerns being raised by their flag bearer today were not concerns they canvas. For instance, I will show you one. If you look at the amendment they propose, where the bill says day-to-day criminal trial, they said no, it should rather be stated expeditious trial. One of the things they raised had to do with qualification for the membership of the panel members. Guess what? The Attorney General said, look, when you put specific qualification, you disqualify others. So open it. But the Chief Justice, together with the Judicial Council, will be doing it. So they have the skills to tell who is fit for purpose. So let me make the point, and viewers, he conveniently tried to say that it is the TUC that is making the argument.
It's not convenient. I read it to you.
Please. You see, Roland, I respect...
It says the TUC is an amalgamation or a body of 17 plus unions.
Listen carefully. In every democracy, unions are respected because of what they represent. Parliament gazetted this bill and permitted the submission of memorandum for the purposes of throwing light, concerns, among others. Where were the TUC?
Wow.
The horses bolted.
Wow.
And then you now want to close the stable.
Wow.
And now, with respect,
this doesn't sound like you.
No, it doesn't know what happened.
It doesn't sound like you just yesterday.
I am saying that.
Okay, we need to put it. Your time is up. Your time is up.
I am saying that enough opportunity was provided for the purposes of consultation to collect views.
And so
now the horses are bolted. Then you say, no, what 276 MPs did is immaterial. Is that what you're saying?
In a democracy.
That's not how democracy operates.
With
respect. With respect.
Your final comments on this. In addition to the fact that
this one has
gentlemen, and then Ms. Anyagba. Okay. So in addition to the fact that the minority is also calling for the repeal of Section 207 and 208 of Act 29, publication of false news, and subsequently also outlines offensive conduct conducive to breaches of the peace as well. All coming from Parliament, the minority.
Yeah, once again, very disappointing as an MPP. Too disappointing. It was, I recall that as in under their watch, as in when they were in power for 8 years, they used it. They weaponized it. They weaponized it. Sadly, at least I had the not too good privilege of representing Hussein.
You represent Hussein,
yeah, where 207, 208 was used against him, and so for me, I feel that they are pushing the repeal of this law is not premised on a genuine desire to see rule of law exacted, but really it's they weaponizing it to advance their own parochial agenda. Because when you consider 207 and 208, I don't think the issue has to do with the law itself being unjust or being unfair or being bad law. Indeed, I am of the view that the law needs reform, not a repeal in itself. And needs reform because of a bit of the law that, my view, I feel is very difficult for the police or for whoever is enforcing same to use. For instance, when you take the 208, where you say, so in my view, there's no issue with the publication of false information. I think that is pretty clear. But I think the confusion has to do with what kind of interpretation do you give to the likely to cause fear and harm. My view is that that clause is too wide and it leaves room for abuse and or for an impartial application, as in whether deliberate or not. So for me, my view was that we should find a way of narrowing, and then finding some clear definition of what's called likely to bring what's called fear, and panic here. You understand? Same with the 207, because when you use things like abusive language or insulting language and all those things, these are issues that, in my view, ought to be objective. But you see, whether we will like it or not, there will always be a subjective view by the law enforcement agencies as to what constitutes an abusive language or not. So what I think ought to be done is for reforms, not to repeal same. Because in the times we are in, as in this internet, AI, social media days, imagine somebody publishes an information that some bank is bankrupt or some bank is something, which will cause an overrun on the banks. It will cause some panic. You understand? So then the essence of this law is to safeguard some of these misinformations that can cause havoc to the public good. And so for me, I don't think the issue of solving the problem by necessarily repealing them. Let us rather reform the law, take into consideration the ultimate purpose of the law, and let's, as much as possible, take away the possibility of the use of discretion in the interpretation of these laws by the law enforcement.
It cannot be strictly implied or enforced if it is worded that way.
And that's what I'm asking for, reform as against complete
There has to be some level of discretion in trying to
you see,
do
the whole essence of a constitutional democracy
so
is to limit the use of discretionary to the barest minimum. And that's what I'm saying, that as much as my view is that, you see, so like you take a 207, abusive language, insulting language, as much as my interpretation of the law, it ought to be objectively what's called understood. Whether you like it or not, where the policeman sitting there who is going to apply the law will certainly have a subjective view. Because probably what will constitute an insult to me may not. Yes,
and context.
And two, see, the law here is not to say that if you insult per se is an offense. Or insulting even the president of Ghana is not an offense. Now, the critical thing is what it will lead to. You understand? So the 207 is saying that that is conducive to breach of the peace. Now, my view is that it's too wide here. So then we should have reforms that will narrow them, that will reduce a discretion. So in terms of what abusive language, insult, we should reform and, if possible, even define what we mean by them. Same with the to it. Because what is happening, in my opinion, here is that the police, well, I don't think His Excellency John Mahama there calls any policeman that is somebody that's insulted me, so go and arrest the person. No. The police themselves, in their, and maybe probably similar to Nanado, I don't think that Nanado made a call that Hobson said A, B, C, D. So go and arrest A, B, C, D. The police people sitting there thinking that they want to please whoever it is. So let us have reforms that will limit the potential of misinterpretation and abuse of sin, because at the end of the day, we understand that our constitution grants us a right to express ourselves, which is an unfettered, which has fetters. No, those rights has fetters.
Use the first one.
No, they has fetters. I'll be very dishonest and very, if I say it is. And two, there's also a need to have these laws that will protect one.
Okay, you have 3 minutes, sir.
The public.
3 minutes to you, sir. Just 3 minutes, sorry.
I just want to state that on the public tribunal, the New Patriotic Party stands with Ghanaians on this matter, and the NDC must watch it. Because in a democracy, it's the people. You gave me 3 minutes, isn't it? So allow me. So in a democracy, it is ruled by the people. And when the people don't like anything, a government, you are selected or elected to uphold the best of your people. And I think that this is a moment where His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, with a very respectful call from our former Vice President, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, to stand down on this. Not only to stand down, but his call is creative in the sense that he's asking for constructive conversation, for Ghanaians to ponder, to have a conversation about it, that do we want this or do we not want it? I think the least President Mahama can do is to allow for further conversation, especially when they have breached the processes to have it passed. And I think it's important. And also to state the thing, our people did not participate in that unanimous effort that is quoting in the paper.
At the committee level?
Yes, that's a committee level. I have that information authority that we cannot be deemed to have said that. That is a point. And in fact, ultimately, no problem, you can say that. But ultimately, the public show of our objection was in the boycott of it. No problem, not afterthought. But that is an action that we have taken.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Oh, no, how?
It's
so,
up.
Yeah, I know you can count very
2 minutes. I don't get 2 minutes.
Accurate timekeeper.
This that has become crystallized in the NDC's era is something that we have to look at and address. I haven't read the speaker, the Honorable Abang Sumana Bagbin's comment that I've seen attributed to him about reversal or democracy backsliding in Ghana. I haven't read the full statement, but I've seen the headline. I'd like to read it to see what are the evidences citing for that backsliding of democracy, our democracy. And I can bet you, even without reading him, to say that the incessant abuse that has taken place from 2025 till now by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government is a key factor in that. People who are engaged in democracy, participating, refusing to be spectators, say that we voted for you. You say you will do 24-hour economy. We are not seeing it. You say you will bring cost of living down. We are not seeing it. So they are frustrated. And they find a window to vent. And even that, they are arrested. They can't find jobs. They can't talk. It's a recipe for democratic reversal. It is what kills democracies. It is what creates chaos in a democracy. It is what pushes citizens to say that we don't want democracy. It is what made people in Guinea-Conakry to run on the street.
Guinea-Conakry?
Yes. When a democratically elected government, President Alpha Conde, was overthrown. I am saying, I'm coming. So briefly, the situation we have on our hands is for President Mahama to ensure that people speak. The same way he's allowed Kevin Taylor Kevin Taylor, who is the epitome of abuse.
Right, the president
of saying inflammatory things that can create chaos and create panic.
When you were in
I
power.
am saying that Kevin Taylor came to this country under the protection of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Kevin Taylor is enabled.
You speak no
Kevin
evidence.
Taylor is tolerated. Kevin Taylor is accommodated. What is the issue with people saying things have as egregious as Kevin Taylor has said? So please, His Excellency, let's get back to where democracy flourishes in our country. Free speech is
all the time to
free speech must be defended, and I think that you should join us in defending free speech.
Richard, CBS Chicago. I'm reading a story.
We live in Ghana. You are quoting things from places we have
Illinois
not been to.
Man sentenced to more than 3 years from threatening to kill President Trump in an Instagram video. He was venting his frustration, and in that conversation said,
free speech?
Free speech. Today, the former FBI director, a known Republican, James Comey, is going through criminal prosecution simply because he wrote on Instagram or so, provided a shell and wrote some numbers around it. Trump says that speech amounts to threats on his life, and the man is being prosecuted. There is nowhere on earth that you have unfettered. You can say whatever you like anywhere on earth. But you see, the hypocrisy of the MPP on such matters is always glaring. And they only find this wisdom when they are in opposition.
But this same thing you were arguing when you were in opposition. And so why you have changed? I don't understand.
You know what? In 1994, the Free Press had published stories about Mrs. Kunedu Ajman-Rawley. Stories I can't repeat today, to her memory.
Yeah.
When the Free Press were charged under the criminal libel and seditious law, they were represented by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He raised a jurisdictional issue and the constitutional basis for those provisions. The Supreme Court, Akwa and Co. said those provisions were necessary for a democracy. So if you recall, in the 2000 election, the MPP promised to repeal the criminal libel law. If you recall. Yeah, so immediately when Nana Addo became Attorney General, he got the criminal libel law repeal. Why did he leave 207 and 208? You guys have no, look, you have no respect.
You're drawing a link between the repeal of those.
Listen, the MPP repealed the criminal libel and seditious law and left 207 and 208 because throughout President Kufuor's tenure, he weaponized that provision. Two, and more importantly, let's say at that time Akufo-Addo was only Attorney General and didn't have the benefit of executive authority. When he himself became president, with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, today, the man who gives red carpet treatment for such persons, the man who today prepares breakfast for persons who engage in those misconducts, he had the benefit of being vice president for 8 years. The chairman of the police council, for that matter. Bobie Ansah, I was Bobie Ansah's lawyer. What was Bobie's crime? Bobie has said, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's wife and the First Lady were building properties up in Cantonment and Labone. It was enough to warrant the arrest of Bobie. I was his lawyer. Section 207, 208. You sit here today and pontificate. You had 8 solid years to repeal 207, 208. You use it conveniently. Captain Smart, a journalist of this platform, do you know the number of times that he was arrested for 207, 208? You guys.
So what's the sum total of what you're saying?
You have no respect for Ghanaians.
No, but what's the point? The issue
you have
is that
no
when you have come to
respect
office,
for Ghanaians.
you have abused that.
Please.
There is almost
you had
every
you had
month,
5 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
My
every
2
month
minutes.
you are arresting somebody.
Let me use it.
So you're saying that they are abusing it?
They are abusing it.
But you see,
it's excessive now.
But it's also
that's why
rebutting that the same was used.
The most, hold on.
So because
not as much.
So it's an extent. It's an extent. Richard.
That's why we say we should review.
You know, these days I've been very calm.
I can give you 2 more minutes. I can give you 2 more minutes.
But you see, the point I am making is that I sit on this platform because I have the benefit of free speech.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
We want to keep it.
Why has Anyagba not been arrested? Who is more menacing on public platform than Anyagba? Why has Anyagba not been arrested? Very. Why has he not been arrested for speech?
In his words?
Because he speaks to the facts. Anyagba, would you encourage any one of those people to be your kid? Is that how you train any of your children?
Proportionality.
No.
Proportionality.
You train your children.
Proportionality.
You train your children at home.
Yeah.
And listen carefully. I know Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and I know his personality. Sometimes, what some of the guys around him gets him to do is directly opposite his personality. This is not Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia. No. To the extent that somebody says this about President John Dramani Mahama, what do? Look at the horrible manner in which the lives of Dr. Mani Bawumia died. Then a young man called Fancy Comedy or something mock their death. Please.
That one,
and you know what?
That one I agree
they
with
give a red carpet. Listen, hold on, please.
You agree with the Fancy Comedy one?
No, I'm just saying that.
No, wait, please. What enormity? I am saying that. Please, permit me to conclude. I am saying that when those guys did that, I expected Dr. Bawumia to say, this is not my person. This is not what I represent. I will not, even if I support what you're doing, I will not give you red carpet treatment, a pop and pageantry, where you receive the people, hug them, prepare breakfast, prepare a table for them.
Stop exaggerating. He didn't do that.
A feast for them.
We all
saw it. And that is why I'm saying that there's a certain leadership responsibility.
Yes. So when you are talking
people like this, please.
You are talking about President Mahama.
I've listened to
shielding Kevin Taylor.
Please.
In this country. Yes, of course. Kevin Taylor came here. There was a warrant for his arrest.
He had the benefit of due process. At least he had the benefit of due process. But you see, permit me to conclude on this. You
so
see,
you can't
my point.
If you want to attack Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia,
I am not. I am saying that. I am saying that.
But we do this. MPG is a nice guy.
That's what we interject each other.
Listen, Doctor, I'll conclude on this. Dr. Alhaji Bawumia has over the period shown a certain persona, brought up well. Now, by association, person that he's encouraging through his body language, that it is now part of the please. Now it is part of the MPP's 2028 policy
says that it's excessive.
Policy. The MPP policy now is that let's get young people. Let's get young people to insult the president, and not only insult, but also.
It's not true.
And if you look at this current lady, Kamila or something, Al-Hassan, this lady goes on air to threaten harm against His Excellency the President, and the entire minority in Parliament, led by Afenyo Makin, say that conduct is proper. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say that conduct is proper. First of all, they must be rebuked. And then you talk about proportionality. You have never rebuked any such conduct. In fact, it is a policy of the
gentlemen, our time is up. I have this one from Yao February. Yao February says that our laws criminalize publication of false news, but does not mean the state has to hide behind the abuse of free speech or publication to send people to prison, and make reference to Larry Dogbe as well as Kamila Al-Hassan being sentenced to jail. And then we have others as well.
No, Roland, you know that
Alfredo Mona Lisa says that I will not want my kids to ever make such pronouncements. And then Prince Nania York also says that Richard Anyagba, keep quiet, kakra mpoe. And then And then Kwabena Into says that Dr. Baumia prepared a table before them in the presence of their criminality. That is what they were doing.
Frequency of arrest.
And Prince, okay. Now we have other comments as well. I'll just quickly read those comments. And
do you know what Nanabi said?
Okay. Ebo Bachman says, wonders shall never cease. The budget is about to be read, and the economist is talking about the law and not the economy. This one, runaway economist indeed. Zealous Dwayne is watching us from the UK. Please tell Mr. Hyangba that Calvin Taylor is a member of their party. Is he a member of your party?
I've seen a post on his Facebook. He said he's contesting for national chairman of NPP. Calvin Taylor.
Maybe he meant to say NPP.
And then
you still have our card.
Ofe Boateng says that
you still have our card. So if you show it doesn't mean you're still a member.
Ofe Boateng says that sometimes I'm amazed at both NPP and NDC. Would they allow their children to go on social media and insult their own president or even their leaders when they are in opposition? Please, what is wrong is wrong. Maybe jailing is excessive, but punishment is due for those individuals who abuse so-called free speech on social media, platforms that cannot be controlled in real time, even by any law. Before you broadcast, by the time you see people's reputation have been damaged. And then I have this one also from Andy Agle, who says that, please tell Mr. Anyagba that free speech cannot be a par with threats of speech. Nowhere in the world would a threat on the president of the country be entertained. And Chairman Kwesi Taylor, a good morning to you as well, and says good morning to. But I have also this one from Ejay Boateng, who says that the difficulties being encountered by all of us is the fact that we are very hypocritical when the things that are done wrong become instruments for propagating same in different administrations. Here lies the case. The Parliament of Ghana has approved of a bill. It has gone to the president. All of a sudden, the leader of the opposition says that it should not be approved. Where were his party members in Parliament? Seth, I also see your comments as well as others also coming through as well. Good morning to all of you. We're grateful.
Attendance for the Judicial Committee.
We're grateful.
When they sat on this bill.
Attendance.
And the attendance, if you look,
who gave you
Honorable Kwame Appiah Kundua, Vice Chair.
They signed.
Honorable Joseph Frimpong, all signed. And these are all MPP.
Attendance is different.
You attended the deliberation.
Big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Gentlemen, big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Now, whether you are aiming for that specialized MBA in marketing communications, operation supply chain, HR, finance, business analytics, as well as you want a dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, the University of Gold Coast is available for you. If you're a worker, they make it conducive by their timetable for you to work and also go to school. And then also they have means by which you can pay your fees in installment. Please call them now. Admissions are in progress, and please make sure you call them on the number 026-388-8555. Gentlemen, thank you for passing through. Next, we have latest updates on sports.